Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to be discussing angles of elevation and depression. Here are angles of elevation. So if you're an observer, your angle of elevation is when you're looking up. It's your line of sight. Notice this example to the right, where the person's standing there and their angle of elevation up, looking up at the tree. Think of elevation as looking up. Next, we have angles of depression. Think of when you're depressed, you're sad, you're down. So angle of depression is when you're looking down. Looking down. Now let's look at a visual of both an angle of depression and angle of elevation. So here we have a person B, their angle of elevation looking up, and we have person A at the top of the stairs looking down. Notice that the angle of depression and the angle of elevation are congruent. Think about what we have here. We have a Z. These are alternate interior angles. So let's say, for example, this was 53 degrees, the angle of depression. That would make the angle of elevation also 53 degrees. They're congruent. So the angle of elevation is equal to the angle of depression. Let's look at this example. An airplane pilot sights a life raft at 26-degree angle of depression. The airplane's altitude is 3 km. So, altitude means height. What is the airplane's surface distance d from the raft? Round your answer to the nearest whole number. So notice again, we have an angle of depression, but remember the angle of depression is equal to the angle of elevation. So if 26 degrees is here, 26 degrees will also be here. Now this turns into a trig question. So we're going to be using SOHCAHTOA. So 26 is going to be my central angle. 3 is going to be my opposite. And what I'm trying to find is right next to the central angle, which is my adjacent. If I have O and A, which one in SOHCAHTOA uses O and A? That means tangent, TOA. So tan of 26 is equal to opposite, which is 3, over adjacent, which is D. Now notice the variables in the denominator, so we're going to switch positions. So 3 divided by tan of 26. Let's use our calculator. Make sure we're in degree mode, and we're going to do 3 divided by tan of 26. We'll get 6.15, roughly. So that's going to be choice B, 6 km. Let's look at an example without a picture. So Bob places an 18-foot ladder 6 feet from the base of his house and leads it up against the side of his house. Find to the nearest degree the measure of the angle the bottom of the ladder makes with the ground. So let's draw the diagram. We're going to have a right triangle. Remember, the ladder is going to be the hypotenuse, and that's 18 feet. Then we have 6 feet from the base of his house. Base, remember, means bottom. So we're going to have 6 feet on the bottom. It leans up against the side of the house. Find to the nearest degree, so we're going to be looking for an angle, the measure of the angle at the bottom of the ladder that makes with the ground. Here's the bottom of the ladder, it makes with the ground. This is going to be my angle of elevation. So we're going to put an X there. Don't forget to write SOHCAHTOA. And let's see, and label our diagram. So 6 is going to be my adjacent, And 18 is going to be across from the 90-degree angle, so that's my hypotenuse. So if I have AH, where does it have AH? Ka, which means cosine. So cosine of x is equal to adjacent, which is 6, over the hypotenuse, which is 18. Don't forget, when you're trying to solve for the angle, you have to click second cos. 6 divided by 18. Let's go to our calculator. So we're going to go to second cos 6 divided by 18. And we get 70.528. But it says it wants it to the nearest degree, so this is going to be 71 degrees.